Hey everybody, it's Strict9 with Strict9 GP, and welcome back to another episode of my Draft Day Sports College Basketball 2020 playthrough. Getting ready to start my third season now with this Penn State Nittany Lions team. I feel like this is pretty much make or break. This might be my last season with the team. Just to recap, if you didn't get to see the last few episodes or series, my job security is really low, 20%. Still haven't been able to get a winning season going, and the goals are still the same from the board. I mean, they want me to finish above 500, finish in the top half of the conference. I feel like if I could get maybe two of these four goals, I might have a chance to stay, but it's not looking good. And, you know, I feel like I could probably call this whole series really recruiting is hard, and that would be about as accurate as I can make it. I have not been able to figure out recruiting on this team, and I know I've had some comments from some viewers. I don't know why I'm having such a bad time of it. I've had viewers who've really told me about some of the recruiting that they've done and some of the runs they've had with their teams, and I am so far behind on it. And I think I'm doing the things that I need to do. I'm looking at the recruits and calling them, getting there. For instance, just to pick one random here. Well, he's not a good one, I guess, to pick, but let me go to the recruiting class. I do have 6 scholarships available. I've already put 4 out there, and I really don't feel like I'm going to have much of a chance at these guys. But Ted Brown, for instance, is one of the best recruits I've got working on. We're still just his 7th. We're 7th on his top 10 schools. And he's one of the better ones. He's one of the better ones I've had. So I don't know what's really holding me back. But man, this has been so difficult to do, to the point where I feel like, even if I do stay, I don't know what kind of luck I'm going to have next year, because I'm going to have a really poor team again. The biggest problem I'm having is trying to get these guys 4 and 5 star recruits. I feel like the ratings are probably giving us their max potential in terms of what my assistant coach who does scouting thinks. So I know none of this is really cut in stone, but man, I just don't think I'm going to get over the hump. And if that's the case, this may be my last season with this program. I've enjoyed it, but I feel like after a certain point, I may have to just give it up. And it could be that this point is going to be this year. I did have some success with my first run with the Austin Peay Governors, but this Penn State team has just been, very difficult. I think, it might even be best. I was thinking all along that you kind of want to, start small, work your way into these big conferences, but, you might have more enjoyment, honestly, just based on my experience. You might have more enjoyment if you're not taking over a strong program already, that you just stay to those small conferences and see if you can, build a program that makes it to the NIT a few years, or makes it to the Final Four tournament once or twice. That might be more enjoyable than what I've had with this one, which is just trying to be competitive. And I haven't so far. But this episode, we're starting the season, so I'm hoping that maybe I'll sim through most of this non-conference schedule this episode. We have a pretty generous schedule. I've kind of flip-flopped on that as well. I know with Austin Peay, I was trying to get some better competition in non-conference just to help with the RPI, but I don't really think you need it with a team like Penn State, being in the Big Ten. So I'm just trying to get some wins. We do have a tough one, I think, with Virginia Commonwealth and Creighton on the road. But even these guys here, like at the top, so far our scout, or I keep saying scout, I know it's an assistant, but the guy scouting these matchups, he's saying that we're going to have a tough time getting past Bowling Green, for instance. So I don't doubt that. Let's see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 non-conference opponents. It looks like it's going to be against Syracuse in that final holiday tournament. If I win 6 games, I think that's as good as I'm gonna manage. That's what I had last year going into the conference schedule, and really kind of didn't help me much. We wound up 14-17 overall. I've set the depth charts. No big surprises. I think one things I don't like, I'm having to play 2 small forwards here. I'm putting A.D. Lee at shooting guard because I think he's better rated, but he's not going to get a whole lot of minutes because I'm trying to get some of these guys down here like Ferguson and even Peterson, who's a freshman recruit, and Perry. I would like to get them some time, but I don't know what to do with Peterson. Sorry. Perry is a guy who's a junior with some potential. I don't want to lose out on him too much. And Ferguson, I think, is a senior. No, he's also a junior. So did I just say him? Bailey, here's the guy. Bailey's a senior. I don't really need to get him too much time. So I've got to find out where I can put Peterson, but man, he's a disruptive force. He's not too concerned with playing time. I think I'm just going to let the sim engine handle him for now and see what these other guys can do until we get to the conference schedule. I am going with Parks a lot of time at center. I'm going with Uche a lot of time at point guard. And then the rest, I'm just hoping, Jennings, I've cut his minutes down quite a bit because I want to get Ratliff and Reichart, 2 freshman recruits. I want to get them some play time. Hopefully that'll help them out. Another thing I've struggled with, I've mentioned several times, I don't see any progression year to year from these guys. So I think I've just stalled out with this game. I'm even seeing some issues with the recruiting in terms of, I don't know if this is supposed to be this way, but I thought, your call list, I thought that was kind of fluid throughout the year. But apparently I'm at a point now where I can't add anybody to that call list. I don't know if this is a glitch or if it's supposed to be that way. So with recruiting, I think I'm pretty much done. It's just going to come down to how lucky I get, and I'm probably going to wind up with 6 scholarships. I've got 2 available right now. I'm probably going to wind up having to give just a lot of 1-star recruits, whoever's going to be interested. I really don't have a whole lot of hope that I'm going to get any of these good guys to sign with us. I put a lot of focus into recruiting between the last episode and this one. I couldn't get anybody interested. I had guys we were 2nd and 3rd in their top 10 schools. They wind up signing with other programs, smaller programs in a couple cases. I just think that recruiting is almost, in some ways, I'm almost leaning towards it being too hard. I really feel like I appreciate, that they built this into the game. It's kind of, I've never seen a sports management game that handles recruiting kind of like this or really handles it all that well. So I give them props for putting it in here and coming up with a system, but it's looking like it's almost too hard to manage. But that's, that might be my opinion on it, but that's certainly the kind of luck I've had with it. But enough kind of moaning about things. Let's go ahead and just get started, send through some games. Might get through most of the season or non-conference schedule. So we're going to be playing first game home against Seattle. And they come into this game with a win, so they may beat us. And I forgot to uncheck that. So sorry. So I'm going to go ahead and sim it. And they beat us 73-65. I think that's going to be pretty much a preview of what's going to happen. I feel like this is pretty much, for me, this is going to be pretty much the end of the road for me. Let me go back and see how that game went. If we can't beat a team like that at home, man, there's just no hope. So they pretty much handled us easily in that second half. Robinson, leading scorer, but he was 4 for 18 from the field. Not a very good showing. Looks like only Parks was in the positive, but he got in foul trouble. And then off the bench, Odell looked pretty good when he played, but man, not good at all. So let's go ahead and move to the next one. And I appreciate you guys staying with me in this series, but unfortunately, if you're watching this to get an idea of how to play this game, I would kind of advise you to not handle it the way I've handled it, because I have not had any success with this team whatsoever. I think one thing that we did, and we're playing Bowling Green, looks like. Did I have something come up here? So looks like I had an email. I've also got some team incidents going on that are pretty much, I'm not Reichardt and Jennings. Oh man. So that was something that I had to deal with last year. I'm really not even going to focus on that this year. Reichardt, unfortunately, has started off here poorly with the bad relationship. We lost to Bowling Green State. I didn't even get a chance to look at that game, but I'll go back and do that right now. So 63-56. And, Jennings probably will get relegated, although he had 13 points in this game. He's a senior who didn't develop. I don't really see a whole lot of point in using him too much. I mean, he's started out with a couple of good games, I guess, scoring-wise, but Reichardt off the bench gives you maybe a little bit better defense because he's got such a good size advantage. But so we're 0-2 to start things off against mediocre competition. I think the way the team is looking right now, I think just with the depth chart, the kind of players I have, I would think we're probably going to struggle to get 10 wins out of this team. And looks like we're going to probably struggle to even finish above 500 in the non-conference schedule. And I think I have some recruiting things to look at. I'm probably not going to focus too much on recruiting this episode. I think I had some coach visits. So Creighton, Kansas City, Sam Neeser, and Marco Gordon. Not an overwhelmingly good visit. With recruiting, I know that I've got one more contact period where I can visit these guys. I mean, that's what it's going to come down to. So Manny Dixon, he's now up to third. I've given him an offer already. Reggie Crawford, we're still 8th for him. That's an outside chance on him. And then Ted Brown, same deal. We're 8th for him, but he's coming from out of state. But I'm not even going to worry about it until we get later in the season. I think there might even be a way you can set the recruiting to automatic in the off season. So we got Louisiana Tech, who are 0-2. This is surely going to be our best chance to get a win, and we finally do get a win against them. I'm assuming we were scouted to beat them, but I'm not really 100% sure on that one. And we won 73-55, pretty convincing win. They did have a better second half than we did. David Robinson, player of the game, 19 points, a great game from him. 8 of 11 from field goal range. Jennings, a lot of rebounds, pretty good game. Uche, good game from him. Lee, and then Parks looked solid in center. Off the bench, Peterson did get some playing time, just a minute. He was my best recruit coming into the to the start of the season, and then for whatever reason he went from a 4.5 star rated recruit to 1 star, just literally like overnight, from one week sim to the next. I'm still not sure how that happened. I noticed that will, when you get, there's a point when you move from the off season into the regular season when those ratings adjust, and I have noticed that happening a few times where your team, they'll kind of flip flop on some of the ratings, especially the underclassmen. So waiting for our next game here, 1-2. And this is kind of what we did last season as well. I think we lost some really poor games early on, and then kind of turned it around and finished 6-3 in that non-conference schedule. I'd be happy with that again this year. If we do, I think that would mean, we would probably have a good chance of getting above 10 wins. But believe it or not, I think that's pretty much what I'm hoping to achieve. I really don't foresee getting 15 wins or finishing above 500. Gonzaga back up. They had a struggle last season, but man, they're looking good this year. So we're playing Kansas City, who's 4-0. In terms of the way we're scouted, it's pretty close. They have the nod, 53-47. And this Virginia Commonwealth, I bet we're way behind them, yeah, 59-41. But let's go ahead and play this Kansas City game. We need another win. This one could be it. Oh, we get it. So we're 2-2. Hopefully this is what happens this season mirrors what happened last season. It's going to be hard to really, because once you get in that conference play in the Big Ten, if you don't have the wins coming in, you're going to be in serious trouble. So another convincing win, 73-58. And Jennings, not much here. Let's see how Reichart looked good off the bench in 8 minutes, plus 10, 6 points. Robinson, 10 points. Uche, good line from him. He is my highest rated player, but he had 7 assists, 11 points. So he's averaging 5.5 assists so far. That's good. Parks, 5 rebounds, not too bad. AD Lee, not much from him. Sandin looked good off the bench. I think Sandin's probably going to be he's a little bit better scoring than Parks at center, so I expect him to get some points here and there when he comes in. That's about it, though. I mean, looks like we had a good defensive game here, held them to 36% scoring, looked good at the line, so that's good. That may have been kind of an upset. What was it, 53-47? My coach had them scouted to win. And I think at this point in the schedule, it gets a little easier until we go up against Virginia Commonwealth and then Syracuse in that tournament. Creighton. This is probably going to be a tough one too. I would imagine I'll take a look at the scouting report. I'd be willing to bet we're kind of scouted to lose 62 to 38. Yeah. And I think this is our first road game, so we lose, and we're 2-3. So, man, this has been disappointing. This may have been a laugher. No, close, 74-70. Man, we just couldn't overcome them. Played them close the whole way. Tom Purnell, 29 points. And then for us, Robinson leading scoring again. I imagine he's going to be our leading scorer. He's probably our best all-around player. Lee, 14 points. So he's decent. Our starters got a lot of playing time. No real foul trouble here. So bench didn't get much time in this game. Looks like 3-pointers are pretty much the difference here. We had 7, they had 14, so that's a big one. We're a little bit more competitive in rebounding. I'm hoping that stays the same because last season was really a struggle game to game to out rebound anybody. Gonzaga now up to 9-0, second ranked team now in the country. And once I get through these games, I'll probably take a look at the Big Ten standings to see how everybody's looking. And if you guys watching, if I'm trying to find some more games. I've played Out of the Park Baseball. I've put up a few videos from that. But if there's any like sports management games you'd like to see some playthrough series on, let me know. I'd be interested in picking up some more games to showcase. I've found a football game that I've kind of enjoyed a little bit called I think it's Pro Strategy Football 2021 or 21. It's been fairly enjoyable. It's got some basic career type play, and here's that big Virginia Commonwealth game, and it's also got we win. So gosh, the one game I thought we were going to lose easy, we win. But that Pro Strategy Football, it has some mods that a pretty decent community, and they've made some mods of like seasons and things. So I might do like a 73-53, good win there. But finishing up with that, I might do a video here and there of that one if it sounds like something you'd be interested in. All right, so A.D. Lee, player of the game here, 17 points. So he's getting close to the double digits in points, and then he's done well in rebounding. Lee is one of those guys, honestly, he was small forward. It was between him and Robinson probably his whole career. And since I picked up playing 2022 in this playthrough, I couldn't see him as a starter, but he has been a higher rated player than most anyway on the team. So I'm interested to see if maybe he can have a good game or a good season finally. Outside of him, Uche, 10 assists but no points. He's not a scoring point guard. That's, look at these currently 1, potential 2 in scoring. So I'm not going to get much scoring from him, but I will take those assists. Didn't see much from Parks, and I like his rebounds per game. I do think he's still going to be a better defensive center, but man, I'd like to see a little bit more from him. And bench play was not too bad. We shot decent. We've had a great defensive game. They were 2 for 23 from 3-pointers, so that's how we won that one. So 3-3. We might be able to eke out 5 wins. That might be a possibility at this point. And Gonzaga, man, at 10-0, they might be back on top this season. I know in my previous run with Austin P, I played 3 seasons with them starting in like the 2019 season. I think Gonzaga was a top team, top three, top five team every year in that playthrough. So I think I'm going to try and get through this whole non-conference schedule this episode. I think we've got a good chance of doing that. Still not playing another. Got a pretty good break here between games, looks like. And you can also you can sim the whole week if you want to. I do it kind of day at a time, just so if there's a matchup I'm interested in, at least I can have a better chance of seeing how it went. And we're gonna have some emails here. It's probably gonna be more scouting reports. Let's see what we got. Another team incident report. Reichardt and Parks. That Syracuse, that's going to be an easy loss, I think. Eastern Washington, we may have a chance with them. No, they're even rated to beat us. It's crazy. That comes, I think, from just the low prestige we've kind of found ourselves in with this team. So let me take a look at some of these attitudes. I mean, I don't want to mess around with it too much. His personality's average, but his team relationships really taking a hit. I'm going to see if he can. So that's why I've kind of quit messing with this, because it always backfires when I do it. So he's going to take a hit in relationship. I think I'm just going to ride those out. At the moment, I only have one guy who's upset, and he's a junior small forward who's got some potential, but I think at this point in his career, he's probably not going to develop too much. So I'm just going to try to ride it out. I think Reichardt, he's not a superstar player. I don't want to lose him necessarily, but if it comes to it, I think, you have to do what you have to do. So let's go back. I think we may have a game coming up in a day or two. Mississippi State off to a great start, looks like. So we're playing Jacksonville State. This is a chance to get us above 500, and we do. We're 4-3 now on the season. When we've won pretty easily. So let's see if that continues. Again, 18-point win. I know this isn't top flight competition. Here's David Robinson, leading scorer again. Great line from him, 14 points, 8 rebounds. Jennings, he's not showing me much. I may want to get Reichardt, even though Reichardt's got some attitude issues. I may want to give Reichardt some more time. You see him off the bench. He really had a better game in a few less minutes than Jennings. And then Sandin off the bench was okay. Uche, another good game, 8 assists. I think Uche, if I just had the players around him, I think he's a pretty decent point guard. But just I'm limited with the rest of this team. We had luckily Jackson State had a poor shooting performance, but we were just 24 for 65 from the field. And so we got Syracuse coming up. I can't remember who we've got before Syracuse. Eastern Washington, that's right. Hopefully that's a home game, and we'll manage to win that one. The Virginia Commonwealth, for what it's worth, was a nice win. But, once again, it's kind of like last season. Those first 2 losses this season, those are gimmies. Seattle and Kansas City? We've got to be able to win those kind of games. And I think the fact that we're not just, shows you how badly I've managed this team. So we may have a game here. I'm not. No, still don't have a game. It's probably going to be next week. See what kind of mail we got. Probably another scouting report. So this is our first in-conference game. 59-41. That's not too bad. Maryland may have lost some guys from last season. When they made it to, I believe last season, they made it to the title game. So here's Eastern Washington. Surely we can win this one. This would be a terrible loss. And we win. So this is going to make sure that we go into the conference schedule with the winning record. If we could somehow eke out 10 wins in that conference schedule, I mean, we would meet our goals. But at this point, and another, 19 points. When we're winning pretty easily. But 15 wins is what it's going to take. David Robinson, 22 points. Again, he's the player of the game. He's probably averaging, 13.6. That's pretty decent. I like his line, though, with assists and rebounds and points and rebounds, even steals. He's a good overall player. Jennings, not too much again from him. Parks, got the rebounds, no points. Uche, again, 8 assists, 14 points, one of his better games. And Lee, 16 points. Off the bench, Ratliff, freshman, my best freshman recruit, 4-star potential. He had +8. Sandin looked good off the bench. And then how's Reichart? Not as good in this one. His coach relationship's not too bad. I think he's just going to have to get a little bit better team relationship going. All right, so let's go ahead and get to that Syracuse game, and we'll end the episode and get ready for the conference season. It's going to be just I just hope it's not going to be a bloodbath. I hope we're competitive. That's all I can say. I hope we're competitive. I think we finished 8-12 in both of the seasons I've been with this Penn State team in conference. 8-12 this year would really put us at 13 wins if we lose to Syracuse, but it would sure be nice to just start turning it around. So here we go. Penn State, Syracuse. They're coming in 6-2, and we lose, so that'll drop us 5-4. I was kind of hoping we might get a couple more wins. We should have, honestly, with that schedule, but just some inconsistent play. That's kind of been our downfall. Fairly close, 68-60. Defensively, we held them. I mean, defensively, we've been playing pretty well. Another team that we held under 40%, but we were under 40% shooting, 25% from 3 points. You're not going to do that and win too many. Looks like Parks and Robinson had pretty good games here. Lee, seven rebounds, 7 points, not too bad. Jennings, starting to really think it's time to get Reichart some more time in there at power forward. I think I'll probably adjust the depth chart going in. Let's see what Peterson's looking like. He's probably going to be he's ticked off because he's not getting any play time, but he's a disruptive force. It wouldn't bother me too much if he transferred out. So that's how it's going to look. I'm going to take a look at the standings for the Big Ten. This doesn't tell you a whole lot because most of these early schedules are kind of gimmies. We are tied with the worst record with Penn State and Purdue. Purdue may have had a tougher schedule. Looks like they did. I mean, they have Villanova, they had Loyola, they had Iowa State on the road. So that doesn't mean a whole lot in terms of how they're coming into conference play. But ranked, no top 10 teams right now. You got Michigan State, Maryland, Minnesota. It could be that those dominant teams from the last few seasons, maybe they lost some players. Maybe that'll play to our advantage. Looking at Maryland, for instance, they got a couple 4-star players, but they also have some depth issues. And let's see who else we got. Wisconsin, who have been pretty strong. They've got some depth problems considering where they've been. I mean, these teams typically, I've noticed they'll have 2 and 3, 4 to 5-star players on their roster, and just to give you an idea, even Purdue, I mean, they've got a 4. Yeah, they may have a tough time of it. So, but man, look at the moods. I just don't know why I'm struggling in so many aspects of this game. Michigan, how do they look? Same deal. I mean, if you go by the ratings here, I mean, I'm seeing teams that are in similar spots than we are in terms of the kind of star ratings they have. So it's possible we might be more competitive than I'm thinking. I sure hope so, because this is time for, this is the only time really for me to turn it around. If I don't win this season, I'm gone. But I want to take a look at recruiting before we go, and then I just don't want to. I don't want to lose any of these guys I've got interested. So Ted Brown still at 8. Manny Dixon still at 3rd. Reggie Crawford, we're at 7 with him. John Davis, I can't even tell because, like I say, I think there was something that glitched out with my recruiting that I can't even add this guy. I'm unable to add anybody to the call list. Like, it's grayed out here, so I'm not sure what happened there. If you have any input into that, maybe leave it in the comments. But this is shaping up to be a tough one, a tough schedule, tough season. Maybe we'll have a chance to turn it around. If not, I probably will move on from this game at that point. But I feel like for me, if I do keep playing, I'm going to back off and go to a smaller conference team, because I think, I just think that's more fun. Unless you're going to a team with a good prestige already, you're not getting too much in what I found from this one anyway. I thought I would get a boost in recruiting just by being in a better prestige conference, but apparently that's not enough. I think you need the assistants that are rated highly in recruiting. You need the team prestige. Right now, I think we're at a 2-star, and a 2-star in like a 4.5-star conference. It's not gonna cut it. So it's gonna be it's just gonna be really tough when you're like this, unless you're a really good player. And I know, like I say, some of the guys who have commented on my channel, I'm sure are a little bit better, or if not a lot better at this game than I am. But overall, I've enjoyed it. I just a few issues with recruiting I wish were easier. But this, overall, this has been a pretty good college basketball management sim. I'd really recommend it if you like college basketball. But let's end the episode here. Appreciate you guys sticking with me on this, and we'll come back and try to turn something around this season and maybe save my job. But thanks for watching. I'll see you next episode.